was watching a documentary on Mary Shelley.
Yeah.
And it was saying that, first off, I know she had to sort of publish the story anonymously because they didn't think a woman could write it, but also her age factored in. And I was wondering, do you think that age factors into creating meaningful work?
I don't think age is an issue if somebody has experienced something that is worth communicating. I mean, I think that it's all based on how much you have inside of you at the time that you're creating the stuff. So there are plenty of young people who have had tremendously rich, dramatic, even traumatic experiences that are perfectly positioned to do something magical with that life experience. I think the problem comes when you don't have enough life experience, you don't have anything to say. That's the problem. I can't remember which filmmaker it was who said when he graduated from film school, he said everybody was just scrambling to try to make their first feature. And he said, I'm going to take 5 years off and I'm going to live. I don't know, but I'm going to live my life. Because he even then knew that he didn't have anything to say that was worth saying yet. So I think that's probably a problem with a lot of filmmakers is that, if they don't constantly inform their work with what's going on, or if their lives aren't enriched by certain experiences, they ended up that's the classic going up your own ass thing where you just, you're not really saying anything new, you're just repeating. So I think that's what's most important is what is informing the work, not necessarily the age. And obviously Mary Shelley was was in a position, had plenty to say on this subject and knocked it out, so it didn't really matter. I mean, Orson Welles is obviously the prime example of somebody in his middle 20s, doing the ultimate commentary on an old shattered man's life. That's pretty amazing that someone would have that perspective. So I guess it depends on the individual's perspective.
But I think a lot of people think that their life, and everybody's life is unique,
Sure.
and that, I've had these tragedies, even though one is a different set of tragedy and the other, they're equally painful to the person experiencing it. But don't you think that everybody thinks they have something to say at 18, at 22?
Oh, I think so.
And some really do, and maybe some need to go out and...
I think so. I think it depends on the person. I think that, I think everybody thinks that look, everybody's life at any given moment is valid and dramatic. The question, does that translate into a movie? And what movie, obviously Truffaut with 400 Blows, is a perfect, or even you look at Rob Reiner doing Stand By Me. I mean, if you nail it, then you can paint a picture of the drama and the complexity of being, an adolescent. That can be infinitely dramatic if you get it right. So it's not like a child's life is invalid. Or I was just talking about The Red Balloon the other day, and The Red Balloon is one of those movies where when I was in college, everyone was saying, "Oh, you got to see The Red Balloon." I'm like, I don't want to see a movie about a little kid and this magical balloon. That's like, who cares? I want to see, real gritty. And finally, I sat down and watched The Red Balloon when I was 21. I'm like, oh, great, because it perfectly captured that feeling of being, 7 years old and alone and everybody hates you, and particularly if you're bullied, and it just nailed. So it depends on the story and the person who's telling it. Everybody's life is valid. It's just a question, does that translate into a 90-minute movie that anybody's going to watch,